And hello everybody, welcome to episode number 20 of my live video tour series. This one's a little bit different and it's answering a question that I've had on my mind for a while. Can I actually pull off one of these videos with an umbrella in my hand? Because it is substantially raining. Welcome, I appreciate that. Otherwise you're probably listening to me on the replay at the moment. But we've got a very special walk today. This is episode number 20 of my series that is meant to bring you live in real time on the streets of Paris. As you might be able to see with the glistening walkway there, it is raining pretty hard right now. And let me show you that we are currently under my umbrella. So again, we're going to see if I can manage to do this in the rain. I haven't yet tried that. And 20th episode, why not give it a shot? So hello Diana, hello Kathy. Tara Back is in the house. We've almost got 100 people. So let's get started. So for this 20th episode, even though it's not the best weather for it, I admit, we're going to enjoy two hidden garden walkways in the 12th arrondissement and the 11th a little bit as well. So right now we're on something called la Coulée Verte. This walkway actually has two names. It's called la Coulée Verte or la Promenade Plantée. And we'll talk about a little bit what it is in a moment. But as you can see on either side of me, I've got this view here. And then behind me, it continues through some architecture there. And we are actually on an elevated former railway. So let's get started. I've got two great hidden garden walkways to show you today. Good morning, Trish. Hello, Nancy. Christina Consolet is in the house. The rain is coming down. Everyone's hidden under various trees and whatnot. And here we go. So we're actually elevated now. This is an old railway, la Coulée Verte. Or it was called the rail of Bassin, the Bassin rail. And it used to travel from Bastille, which we're going to walk to today, Place de la Bastille, and there was a beautiful railway station from the 19th century at the area of La Bastille. Well, that went on way into the 1960s, and then they shut down the railway. So this is actually elevated, and I can show you. We are at, sort of up toward the rooftops of Paris. We can see some gorgeous architecture there if you can make out those large gentlemen at the top there. Those are very, very unique. And we're going to see some fine architecture as well as this garden walkway. So La Coulée Verte, it's a viaduct technically, and there are arches underneath us and traffic, and all of Paris is happening below. But it claims to be the very first elevated garden walkway, the first elevated park in the world. And again, this was created in the 80s and 90s, depending on which book you read. Late 80s into the early 90s. So you're walking through the 12th arrondissement. There's a little bit of street art for you. And so as we go along, I'm going to keep an eye out, not only to show you the greenery here, but also the architecture that we have at eye level. Hello everybody, I'm so glad you're joining me. As you can see today, it's a rainy one, it's a wet one. We're under my umbrella. Let me show you some more. A lot of great little gems here. So again, as the title explains, if you're just arriving, we're on la Coulée Verte, which is an elevated garden walkway. If you've been to New York City, where I spent 10 years of my life, they have something called the High Line. And the High Line was built and inspired after this, actually, or inspired by this, I should say. So you can hear the city, I think you can hear that around, but you're also removed from it at the same time, which makes this very special, and it's very local. Again, the 12th arrondissement is one that not too many travelers or tourists check out. Good stuff. Heather Liebhart says she's been to the High Line, fantastic. Also, I understand, I haven't been to Chicago, but I understand there is a relatively new walkway there as well called the Bloomingdale Trail. So let's see if you can make this out here. A lot of benches around, of course. Architecture on either side. Some of the architecture is quite different than what you'd expect in Paris, like that one right there. But we'll also see some gorgeous classic Parisian architecture as well as we go. Hi, Joan. Kathy Toll, how's it going, Kathy? When are you coming back, Kathy, to have some more Italian food with me? Kathy and I had the best Italian food ever in Montmartre. So it's really special. Of course, perhaps best enjoyed on a sunny day. But it goes on and on and on. So again, if you're just joining, this is a former railway, elevated railway line. They removed the tracks, and in the 80s and 90s installed this Promenade Plantée, which is the second name for it, the sort of the planted promenade. And let me show you too, it just offers a real local and different view of Paris. You can sort of pat yourself on the back when you're in a place like this, knowing that you are off the beaten track. So imagine, I know a lot of you like to imagine yourselves in Paris. Imagine that you're on that bench and you've got this cute little pastoral scene and a little bit of architecture behind you there. Yeah, Juan just reminded me that because of the rain, we have this place almost to ourselves. So I appreciate that silver lining, Juan. Well done. Now, I'm not a flower guy or plant guy, so don't expect any info about what's going on here botanically. But I can tell you there was one of my favorite movies that was filmed in Paris is called Before Sunset. And it's it was part 2 of a series of movies with Julie Delpy, the French actress, and Ethan Hawke. And so they are seen at one point, all through the movie they're strolling through Paris, but all of a sudden it cuts to them enjoying this Coulée Verte. Hello, David Dubois. Thank you for joining. Mimi Costello's in the house. We've got about 200 live viewers. That is exciting stuff. Thank you so much. Look at this. Just really, really nice spaces. Again, we're elevated from the city, and I want to, as we get closer to some interesting architecture, I'm going to show you. This goes on for 3 miles, almost 3 miles, from Place de la Bastille, and it cuts all the way across through the 12th arrondissement. So far, it's working okay with the umbrella here, as you can see. Umbrella, we're protected. It was a real nice sunny day all day. Well, not sunny, but a little overcast and warm. And I was thinking, that's not going to rain. It's not going to rain on us, right? Not for episode 20. But lo and behold, here we are. Here you can get a sense more of the fact that it used to be a railway. Again, in the 19th century, this was one of those ultra chic and modern railway lines, back when Paris was really the capital of modern railways. Let me show you here. So again, I don't know how many floors up we are, but there's Paris below us. So you definitely get that feeling of being removed from what's going on. And for those of you who like to dream along with me, dream that I kind of own one of those terraces up top, when I'm walking around through Paris. This is a good place to do it because you've got it all around. If you're able to come through here after dark, actually, you get to do a lot of good spying through the windows and when the apartments are illuminated. Not that I condone such a thing, but... And then you get some rather modern architecture here, too. You don't really think of that as being Parisian, but in the 12th arrondissement, you've got a mix of a lot of stuff. Christina's asking me if this is well lit at night. Yeah, I don't come through here at night very often, but I do see during the day a lot of lamps here, which illuminate the walkway. So the fact that these are periodically throughout makes me think that it's probably quite well lit. And there are some more traditional street lamps as well. Hello, Teresa. Bonjour, bonjour. I hope everyone's doing well today. Here we've got some bamboo, sort of a bamboo archway of sorts. So again, I won't be dropping any botanical knowledge on you today because that's not really my specialty. So I'm not even going to try to go there. But right here along us, if you can see, there's a park and actually sort of a public workout center. So if you can make it out, they've got some exercise equipment. So again, just very local, very family-oriented. And there are several stairways that'll take you up to this Coulée Verte along the way. Boy, those are some die-hard joggers. That's all we've got up here right now, die-hard joggers and die-hard live streamers. Here's another view of the park/workout area down here. So that'll be packed, obviously, when the weather's nice. Not quite like Muscle Beach in Miami, but you get the idea. Another good thing about the rain is we're getting some really lush greens here on the video. This is pretty great, right? Just surrounded by bamboo. Carol says, hi, this is a really cool place. Good, I'm glad. This is one of 2 hidden garden walkways that I'm going to show you today. Walkways that are definitely off the normal beaten track. Okay, now I get to show you some really great architecture. Here we go. Almost there. Ah, Missy Lamb, superfan Missy Lamb is in the house. I'm so glad to see you, Missy. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed this very soggy look at a rather unique place. So to the right of me, we've got rather modern brick architecture, but still a very lovely complex here. I got to remember to keep my equipment under the umbrella, but I'll just give you a view of what's going on here to the north, and then what's going on to the south right here. I quite like this view here. I definitely wanted to show this to you all. That's some good meditation right there. Sue Ann Hum says she's loving this. Fantastic. And you're right, Martha. Everything is very lush. Probably going to get a little more lush after this rainstorm. So again, I tell people all the time to look up. Always look up in Paris. And this is a chance to look even further up, really. And then again, another side of or another section of that same complex. You know, this architecture isn't classically Parisian, but it's quite nice as well. I don't think I'd turn down a spot like that. And just to give you a view of what we've already traversed, right there. It's just real charming when the weather's nice because you just see the locals up here and they're reading books by Baudelaire and Proust, and they're, you know, having makeout sessions with their boyfriends and girlfriends and joggers and families and all that good stuff. So we're in the 12th arrondissement. What you're looking at in the distance at the end of that street is the Gare de Lyon. And you can see it's a very soggy and glistening day in Paris at the moment. Still, I mean, Paris in the rain, I know a lot of you agree with me. It's better than a lot of other places on a sunny day, right? And there's a certain romanticism, for sure, when it comes to Paris in the rain. And let me show you this view that I think is pretty charming. So, again, very lush, very green. I just stepped in a big old puddle, but we'll pretend that didn't happen. Look at that. Francis in Portland, Oregon, saying, thank you for this walk. You're very welcome, Francis. Let's continue. What I love about these videos and the community that we're building is I get to talk with and hang out with people who are absolutely as nerdy and obsessed with Paris as I am. And that's pretty fantastic. Oh, let me give you a little bit of meditation here, if I can back up. If we can make out that bench plus the architecture. Come on, who wouldn't want to just hang out there and read a book, or maybe write a book? Someone asked about the entrance and the exit. There are several stairways periodically that will get you on and off, or up and down rather. So you can just do sections of it. As I said earlier in the video, this is about almost 3 miles long. It's 4.5 kilometers long. So you probably wouldn't walk it all in one day. I'm going to try to get up on a bench here. Can you hear the birds? They're loving it. It's a very good sign for all of us and a good sign for this series that I'm able to pull this off in the rain with an umbrella. That is a very good sign because that's something that has stifled my my choices sometimes for what we can explore. Martha Kennelly says, I have a great eye for composition. I appreciate that, Martha. It might be all of those years in art school as a younger man. Always looking for that inspiring lineup and composition. Like here, really like this. Boy, these domes, where did they ever get the idea to put these beautiful slate domes on the top of buildings? It's just fantastic. I think I want to live up in one of those domes, just not in the summertime. They aren't big on air conditioning in France, let me tell you. I know some of you have learned that firsthand. Mary Beth says she loves hearing the rain on my umbrella. Fantastic. Here's another view. So it's kind of fun because speaking of composition, you can set up the feeling that you're almost on safari, right? And you're in the in the wild and you're peering through the brush into Paris. I think that's pretty fun. After 8 years here, I'm always excited to find new perspectives for sure. And I know a lot of you are too. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit and get you to our other sort of rather hidden garden walkway. I pretty much think that I'm going to be able to show you something that you haven't seen before. We're almost at the end, by the way. We're headed toward La Bastille, Place de la Bastille, which I was going to show you last week, but there was a huge protest, so I couldn't take you through Bastille. I think you're going to really like this view to the right here. Can't go wrong with a big old church steeple. Can't go wrong with bullet holes from World War II. You can't go wrong with a church steeple. I'm trying to back up so I can give you the full effect here, but you get the idea. William Kessler says he thinks he knows where I'm heading for the second hidden walkway. You might be right, my friend. You might be right. We'll see. So again, if you missed it early on, Paris gets credit for inventing this idea. They claim that this is the first elevated park or elevated garden walkway in the world. And the High Line in New York City followed suit. Chicago did its own version, and I'm sure many other cities around the world. And I can see the end in sight, and we're going to descend toward La Bastille. D. Hubert, you just made me smile referencing the Rihanna song Umbrella. Should I sing a bit of Rihanna for us? Nah. As usual, you have to pay extra for that. Here's another composition that we don't want to miss. Right there. You can hear those sirens. Again, this sort of Born Identity vibe. Bit of a spy thriller, European thriller soundtrack. Whoop. Just got hit by someone's umbrella. Okay, so we're going to descend here. So this is the end, or you could see it as the beginning of La Coulée Verte, or the Promenade Plantée. Those are the two names. And we'll look back real quick to say goodbye. Some arcade. Okay, folks, let's do this. Down to street level. Sue-Ann Hum says she loves that archway. Sue-Ann, being the fine painter that you are, I'm sure you would enjoy painting some of that walk that we just took. Maybe that could be a location for your artists next time when you bring them through to paint the city. Okay, so here we are, and let me just show you before we move on. Again, we were on a viaduct, an old elevated rail line, and today it's called the Viaduc des Arts, or the Viaduct of the Arts. So you can see these beautiful brick arched arcades underneath. So that's what we were walking above, on top of. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's dedicated to artisan shops. So 71 commercial spaces that are mostly dedicated to various artisans and designers. So that could be a whole other video, just doing some window shopping of these spots, but it gives you an idea. Again, another great, you can spend a whole afternoon or a whole morning here, do the walkway up top, and then do these shops. I don't know if I'm allowed to show you this, but it looks pretty fantastic, so do that with you. Some kind of white chariot with flowers and shells and all that good stuff. On to the Bastille. Okay, time to say hello to you for real. All 258 of you. I can't press the button and hold the umbrella at the same time. There we go, I got it. So, hi everybody, it's good to see you. And if you're new to this series, then nice to meet you. This is number 20 of the series called My Live Video Tours, which basically is meant to put you in real time on the streets of Paris. And if you can't be in Paris, basically I'm bringing it to you each week for free. Now, there are some links in the description. So this is about the time where I give my quick plug. I have a bunch of subscribers who are on Patreon. That is a website that allows you to make a monthly pledge to support this project, and also as a reward, get some really good extra stuff, extra Paris content. You get access to some Facebook private groups, so you can tap into the community. You get access to some meetups that we have every week, where you can physically, if you're in Paris, have a drink and meet other Paris lovers, other fans of this project. And PDF maps, that's really one of the big ones. If you want a map literally of all of this stuff, how to find it, what I said about it, then you can get that for all the episodes. So check it out, Patreon, the link is in the description. And we're almost at La Bastille. I'm kind of stalling a little bit while we get to La Bastille. But let me show you what's in front of us. Christine's asking if this is close to the Cinématique. Yes, at the farther end of it, in the 12th arrondissement. Not at this end, but if we were to walk in the other direction, yeah, toward Bastille. I believe that's the one you're talking about, the one near Bastille. There's that beautiful green column of La Bastille. Let me tell you too that one major thing that my subscribers get is access to live private cafe chats after each of these walks. Even though these walks are free, my subscribers get access to a chat, and I usually have a special guest, and this week it's a very special guest called Susan Rubin. She is a very renowned and very successful botanical artist, so she draws a lot of the stuff that we probably just looked at. So we're going to do a cafe chat with Susan in a really nice spot, although I don't know if we're going to find a table outside with this weather. But anyway, those of you who are subscribers already, you know where to go. Go to the cafe chat group in that private community that we started. You might hear that I'm breathing a little heavy because I'm trying to get us over there in a timely fashion. I want to tell you a couple of things about La Bastille, actually. Place La Bastille marks where the medieval fortress once stood. Built in 1370. There were fewer buses back then, so you had better views in 1370. Oh, let me show you here. So 1370, there's a major fortress built called La Bastille, and at the time it was the eastern side of Paris, and it was meant to defend from invaders. And then Cardinal Richelieu turns it into a prison, and it becomes a symbol of the tyranny of the king, century after century. Basically, he could throw you in there, whoever the king was, could throw you into the Bastille prison, just like that, without a trial. So infamously, or famously, in 1789, the French Revolution kicks off, and in this area, the Bastille prison was attacked and torn apart. So there's nothing that remains of it. But here, this column, people think that it actually references the French Revolution, but it doesn't. It references a smaller one in 1830. So that column has names on it, if you get close, names written in gold. And it's over 500 victims, the people who rose up in 1830, just over 3 days, in July, and they're actually buried under there. Now let me tell you something as we move on. When they put that column of the Bastille there, in honor of the revolutionary victims of 1830, they popped all the bodies under there. And when they went and counted the bodies, they found out that they had a few extras. And it was believed that some of Napoleon's mummies that he stole from Egypt when he conquered the area, Napoleon brought them to Paris, and they ended up being buried in the same plot of land that those revolutionaries had been placed before they were dug up and put under the Bastille column. So there is a rumor in Paris that we have a few Egyptian mummies buried underneath that green column that I just showed you. I love that kind of stuff. All right, here we go. This is the second rather unknown, wet cobblestones, rather unknown garden walkway. Anybody want to attend a wedding? So this is another great overlooked part of the city. It's called the Port de l'Arsenal, or the Arsenal Port. So there's a cafe here, and this is the cafe that I hope to have the cafe chat with Susan Rubin later. But look at this. It's a port with boats, and a lot of these are boat houses, or houseboats, I should say. If you go under that tunnel on a boat, and there are cruise lines that take you up there, you'll actually end up along the Canal Saint-Martin, which is another great neighborhood, and a neighborhood that I can give you tours of. I haven't mentioned this yet because I assume you all know me, but I guess not all of you do. I'm a full-time tour guide and blogger and photographer. So that's how I started this series, to give people a taste of my tours. So if you're ever physically in Paris and you want to tour with me, go ahead and contact me. All of that info is in the description as well here. And this video is going to go up as a replay if you didn't catch all of the live version. Okay, so we're close to the water right here. You can see this, Le Grand Bleu, this cafe. Little tip of the Bastille column. But, I mean, the Bastille is known for being very noisy with a lot of traffic. And here you can just absolutely get away from it. And of course, you know me after 20 episodes. That's exactly what I'm trying to do with these videos and on my tours. That right there, Canorama, is the cruise ship, or the sort of the tourist boat that'll take you up the canal to the Canal Saint-Martin. And then look at this. Now I understand why the bride and groom are here. They're looking for a photo op. So again, this is the Port de l'Arsenal. We are going to sneak through here. Bonjour. Bonjour. Félicitations. So look at this, really nice. And ultra local. So you have a walkway here. You actually have a walkway up there as well. Tree lined. And then here, again, when it's not raining, there's this grassy section where Parisians will just hang out and have picnics along the water. Again, it's a bit of an alternative Paris, but it's fantastic. People live on these houseboats, by the way. We saw some of these when I did the night tour of Paris a few episodes ago. We saw some near the Grand Palais. And again, this is just a few minutes, as you saw, from that Coulée Verte that we're walking along at first. So you can combine these two with a bit of shopping on that Via Duc des Arts, those archways underneath the walk that we did, and you're good to go. Again, I want to just give you a feel. So we're sunken down from the street, which is really nice. The people that live on these boats, I saw a documentary about them, and they're all very friendly. They know each other, of course. They've been neighbors for years and years and years, and they trade off having barbecues and aperitifs before dinner on various boats. So one night it'll be your boat, next night it'll be your neighbor's boat, and then the next night another neighbor. Port de la Senale. Some lovely color there. Whew. And then it sort of culminates with a charming little statue here and some rose bushes. And this will all be even more lush in another month or so. Just gets more and more beautiful as you go. So when you think Place de la Bastille, I can tell you not a lot of people, even locals, are thinking of spaces like this. I think you'll all like this view here. I just love the different dimensions and the layers of this city. Again, I don't know what these flowers are that are hugging the wall, but they're fantastic. Right amid all this hustle and bustle. Let me check the time because I got to meet up with Susan Rubin for this cafe chat. Oh, we're doing all right. So before she arrives, let's go ahead and see what's at the end here. Someone asked me who maintains these spaces. It's the city workers, city officials. By the way, if you go that way, maybe another 10 minutes, you'll end up at the Seine River. This is a playground. Because, you know, French kids got it rough in Paris. So we're going to walk back to the cafe, and then I'll wait for Susan to arrive. And again, my Patreon subscribers can enjoy a chat. Now, on that chat, we're going to get into some fun stuff. First of all, Susan being an artist, she's going to talk about how she experiences Paris as an artist and as a visual person, favorite museums and places she likes to go for inspiration. And we'll talk about her being solo in Paris as a woman, as a female traveler. And also, interestingly, she describes herself as a bit of a packing ninja. She uses only one small piece of carry-on luggage when she travels Europe, and apparently she's got a lot of tips and tricks for that. So I know some of you have sent in questions for Susan, and we're going to answer all those in the private chat. Boy, that last composition I just had was a doozy. I'm going to go back and enjoy that one later, I can tell you. Arches, arches, arches. So again, I'm just going to take you down a parallel path that we just used. Just goes on and on. Yeah, Marianne Borg says I have the whole place to myself. Well, I have the whole place to myself, but I have it with all of you as well, Marianne, so even better. let me show you the way we just came to. So I hope that next time you're all in Paris, you will check out at least one or perhaps both of these spaces in the 12th arrondissement near Place de la Bastille. If you're one of my subscribers, you can even get a hold of the PDF map and know exactly where all this stuff is and get a reminder of everything we talked about. Otherwise, this will be up for replay. You can watch it to your heart's content. I am going to get the seat of my pants extraordinarily wet, sitting at this cafe, setting up for Susan. And then we're going to have our talk. So let me get back to you here and look at all of you with hopefully a bit of a view. So thanks for joining me today, everybody. Remember, every week a free live walk, live stream tour through Paris to put you on the streets vicariously. And I walk through the rain so you don't have to. And it's 100% free. And what else do I want to say? Check me out. All my links are in the description. Instagram, my photography is there, my blog is there. You can hit me up for tours of Paris and check out the Patreon subscription idea. And I think that's about it. So I'll see you next week for a lovely walk somewhere else, hopefully not in the rain. And other than that, take care, have a great weekend. And remember, if you can't bring yourself to Paris, I'm going to keep bringing Paris to you. That's what I do. See you for the next one. Take care. Bye.